Hello and welcome to the Star Awards show brought to you by the Bob Mwiti Foundation. For some students, challenges come and go. For others, they persist, stretching families to their limits. There comes a point where there is nothing more to give, and yet the journey must continue. Today we meet Wilberforce Muthomi, a Form 4 student at Moi High School Mbiruri from Kienikia Aro Village, Adhiru Rojene Ward, Igembe Central, Meru County. Wilberforce comes from a family where both parents work tirelessly, yet without permanent income. Over time, they have stretched every resource they had. There have been moments when Wilberforce has to be sent home due to school fees. Each day, he wakes up with a renewed determination, with a dream to become a medical doctor. Today, we follow this journey, a story of endurance and sacrifice. The journey into Kienikia Aro village unfolds through the interior of Igembe Central, past KK Market, where the road narrows and the terrain becomes increasingly difficult to navigate. The muddy paths wind through the Nyambene region, an area known for miraf farming, where livelihoods depend heavily on what the land can produce and what each day is able to offer. It is within this environment that Wilberforce Muthomi's story begins.
I am Nkuja Muthomi Wilberforce. I am in Form 4. Currently at Moi High School Mbiruri.
In a family where both parents work tirelessly, yet stability has never been guaranteed. In this household, there is no single source of income, no steady flow that sustains the family from one month to the next.
I have no job, my husband also has no job, and his father, whom you see there, depends on us as well.
Instead, survival is built on small, unpredictable opportunities.
In this village, you can always find some casual labor to do, but the pay is very low, so the money only helps us buy food.
His mother moves from one casual job to another, digging in farms, washing clothes, doing whatever she can find.
This year has been very difficult. We had almost lost hope and were close to giving up.
While his father takes on border work and occasional manual labor whenever the chance arises.
We only save whatever little remains after buying food, and that is what we use to pay school fees.
There have been moments when the pressure became overwhelming, when giving up felt like the only option left. At one point, they even considered selling the small piece of land where they live just to sustain their children's education.
I have gone through a lot because of my children's education. At one point, I even considered selling the small piece of land where we live.
For Wilberforce, the challenge is not just financial. It is the reality of a family that has already stretched itself to the limit. Over time, resources have been exhausted, assets sold, and sacrifices made just to keep education going. In such situation, each new school term does not begin with certainty, but with questions. Wilberforce's academic journey did not begin with certainty, but with gradual realization.
My academic life took off at Vision Kings Academy.
In his early years at a private academy, learning felt like a normal part of life. Something expected, but not yet deeply understood.
Yeah, I was eager to study, but I didn't really have the idea of what study meant.
It was only later, around class 5, that the weight of education began to settle in his mind, that he started to see it as something that required effort, discipline, and direction.
At about class 5, it started hitting in my mind that, okay, now I am required to do something. So I started working harder.
But just as that awareness began to grow, circumstances shifted.
I realized I'll transfer to another school. So I was not really okay with it.
The cost of education became too high, and his parents made the difficult decision to transfer him to a public school.
Back then, we used to have good harvests, but things changed and it became difficult to raise school fees. That is when I decided to transfer Wilberforce from a private school to a public school.
A teacher from his former school noticed the change and intervened.
A teacher who is also a family friend called me and asked why I had transferred Wilberforce. I explained that life had become difficult and that is why I moved him.
And they were like, what has gone wrong? Why didn't you inform us while taking the transfer? After my parents explained, I think the teacher got the sense.
Opening a new door through sponsorship.
The teacher told me they knew someone who could help Wilberforce. Wilberforce did the interview and the board decided to sponsor him because they saw his potential.
With that opportunity, Wilberforce began to work with clarity. He understood what was at stake, and from that point forward, his education became a responsibility.
Either I work hard or lose the sponsorship. So I knew what I was doing then. I was just working extremely hard.
By the time he reached his final year in primary school, he had developed a clear goal to succeed.
In my last year, I was looking up to something great, like an achievement, my first achievement, to put my family's name high. But deep down, I was just wondering, what if something goes wrong? What if I pass and I'm not, like, I don't have any other step left for me to do due to the conditions from the family.
When the KCPE results were released, that effort became visible.
When the KCPE results were announced, just as Wilberforce had promised, I saw his name on TV. I was very happy. I could not even speak. I think he was position 1 or 2 in Meru County.
Number 2, Meru County. I managed to scoop 418 out of the possible 500 marks,
placing him among the top students in the county.
I was overwhelmed. I had no words to say. When I saw his marks, I kept wondering, where was I to begin?
Wilberforce had been selected to join Kapsabet Boys, one of the most prestigious national schools.
But now the drama came when I received the school which I was to join. I was like, okay, this is the school I wish to join. But now, how will I make it?
It was the kind of opportunity many students dream of. But for his family, it was a level of financial demand that was simply impossible to meet.
I knew I would not make it. Considering the local schools and asking myself which one is the best to join. Okay, I believed in my hard work, but I knew at some point the school which I would join would have a big impact on my high school life.
They tried, they reached out, but every attempt led to the same reality.
We started looking for ways to help him join Kapsabet Boys. We tried everything we could, but nothing seemed to work.
Without the required fees, admission was not possible.
The amount of money needed was too much. I did not even have money for the uniform. I even called Kapsabet Boys and they told me they could not admit a student without school fees. At one point, I had decided he would just join Mariri Day School.
Even alternative schools presented the same challenge. The cost remained very high.
We even tried to get admission at Meru School, but the fee difference between Meru School and Kapsabet was very small.
At one point, he began to accept that he might not continue at the level he had hoped for.
So, I was at the verge of giving up because I knew I would not make it to Kapsabet, which is the school I was to join.
Through the support of teachers and a family connection, Wilberforce was introduced to Moi High School Mbirori, another national school, but this time in Embu County.
The teacher told me they knew someone at Moi High School Mbiruri and that they would help us get admission there. They called the school and they pleaded with them, explaining that Wilberforce had performed very well in KCPE. The school then decided to give him an admission letter.
With very little in hand, his parents made a decision. They sold the only asset they could rely on at the moment, a cow.
There was a cow which mother was milking at that time. So, and they were like, it is the only option that we have. Yeah, it had to go. Still, the amount would not sum up to anything. Yeah, compared to the fees required.
I sold the cow I used to milk and got 22,000 shillings.
They did not have enough for fees. They did not have enough for uniform, but they went anyway.
I went and paid the school fees and gave them the receipt. Then they gave me another receipt for the school uniform. I told them I did not have money for that. They asked me how I had brought the student without enough money. I explained that I had only managed to bring the school fees so that at least he could secure his place. They asked where we had come from, and I told them Meru County. Then they asked us to wait aside. Later, a lady came and asked why we were standing aside. I explained that I had paid the school fees but did not have money for the uniform. She checked Wilberforce's papers and then told us to follow her to the uniform section. She asked Wilberforce to pick the uniform.
They pleaded with the school. His situation was understood.
She later asked me when I would bring the money, and after I explained our situation, we came to an agreement.
From that moment onward, staying in school became a continuous struggle.
My payment for school fees, I think it was not really consistent. At highest, it would go 2,000, 1,500, 500. I think it has never surpassed 3,000.
We combine our efforts with his father, and sometimes we even borrow money from Shylocks. That debt has really affected us.
There were many times when Wilberforce was called out of class, asked to leave lessons, and told to go home for fees.
So many a times I'm called out of class and I have to leave the lessons.
Teachers repeatedly stepped in, holding him back from leaving school, and sometimes even using their own resources to ensure he could remain in class.
Mr. Felix Alela calls me every time Wilberforce is about to be sent home. He takes care of him like his own child.
I've seen him get his own cash for me just to remain in school.
Sometimes he even uses his own money to pay Wilberforce's school fees and later asks me to refund him. Other times he makes sure Wilberforce is not sent home because he knows he might lack fare to return to school.
At school, the expectations remain the same regardless of circumstance. Lessons continue, exams are set, and progress is expected. But for Wilberforce, learning happens under pressure. The knowledge that his family is struggling, that basic needs are not always met, and that his place in school is not always guaranteed creates a constant weight. And yet, he continues to study not because it is easy, but because he understands what is at stake.
It has not been easy, of which I take it positively, and I encourage myself that it is not the entire journey that is meant to be as it is. It has taught me to be resilient. It has taught me to be just industrious.
This child is unique. Sometimes I give him pocket money and he comes back with it. He tells me he decided not to spend it because he knows his siblings might be sleeping hungry at home.
Even in those moments, his mother continued to encourage him.
Yeah, my mother motivates me a lot. Yeah, I can remember the many times I come home, I meet her audition, and I'm really like, she should be giving up. And me seeing her giving me the spirit, I feel I really have to work hard and I have to make this mama proud.
What makes Wilberforce's journey different is how he responds to hardship. Instead of allowing it to slow him down, he transforms it into motivation. Each challenge becomes a reminder of why he must succeed. His dream of becoming a doctor is not distant or abstract. It is deeply connected to his experience, to the people around him, and the desire to give back. And from here, he continues forward, not with ease, but with purpose.
In future, I aspire to pursue medicine and surgery.
The Bob Mwiti Foundation is rooted in lived experience shaped by the journey of its chairman.
I grew up in a very humble family, raised primarily by my grandparents.
It is a journey that did not go unnoticed. His primary school teacher saw it unfold.
I have known Bob for a long time when he was in nursery until when he left Gekumene, where I taught him mathematics. And he was my best student.
After performing well in his final primary school examinations,
in primary school, I worked very hard and was fortunate to become one of the top students in Meru County. That performance earned me admission to one of the most prestigious schools in the country, Nairobi School.
It was not possible for the grand parent to pay the fees. So Bob did not go to the national school. Instead, we sought other ways and enjoyed in Kobo.
As he prepared to begin Form 1, a simple but powerful act of kindness changed everything. His teacher, Mr. Power, bought him his first pair of school shoes.
Na niseme nikiwa mwalimu wake, nilishughulikia na kile anakumbuka kiatu nilimnunulia hapo town.
It was a gesture, but one that carried meaning far beyond that moment. It created a bond that has endured over the years.
All of you have known that I was taken to US by this young man. I was able to travel from state to another, road tour. Kutoka Florida, Georgia, Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Washington. My relationship with Bob is that of a teacher and a pupil. Hakunipeleka huko kwa vile mimi ni uncle, hapana. Ni kwa vile mimi ni mwalimu wake na nilikuwa namjali.
As part of a mission to give back to the community.
About 8 years ago, I began quietly supporting top students from my local primary school, Gikumene, and my alma mater, Mkobo High School. As the years went by, I realized there was a need to create a more structured and scalable way to help many more students. That vision led to the creation of the Bob Mwiti Foundation.
Through its flagship Star Award, the foundation seeks to empower brilliant and financially needy students through high school education.
Through the Star Award, we support outstanding high school students across Meru County. Every week, the foundation awards Kenya shillings 20,000 to one student from each administrative ward within Meru County.
Si tuko na matajiri sana kuliko yeye. But he has that passion He is very generous.
In the midst of all these challenges, Wilberforce and his family came across the Bob Mwiti Foundation through a visit to their church.
I met the Bob Mwiti Foundation at our church. They told us Bob Mwiti's story, and immediately I felt this opportunity was meant for me.
They followed up, sought information, and completed the application process.
After church, I followed them to Lare town and pleaded with them. I asked what we needed to do, and we followed the process.
I visited cyber where I was directed, and yeah, that's why I did my application.
And when the confirmation finally came, it brought a moment of relief.
I was very happy when I learned that he had been selected.
Just after coming home, my mother just smiling, and she was like, "You have been selected." They was really happy.
This family is entirely grateful to Bob Mwiti and the whole Bob Mwiti Foundation.
I pray that God blesses him. If Bob himself managed to succeed despite the struggles we were told about, then even these children will go far. I thank him for using his resources to help vulnerable students.
And I am assured I will concentrate fully with my studies. I will not have the thought of school fees. Personally, I am humbled, and I just feel it is a catalyst to the light of my life. So I'm just grateful, and may God bless him.
You can support this family and help ease their burden through this M-Pesa number. Your kindness is truly appreciated. Through the Bob Mwiti Foundation, you have an opportunity to nurture education and support determined students. Your contributions go directly toward easing the burden of school fees, helping ensure that these students are able to remain in school. Wilberforce Muthomi's journey reminds us that sometimes the greatest challenge is not starting, but continuing when resources have already been exhausted. Despite the weight of financial hardship and repeated sacrifice, he has remained focused, determined to move forward and change his family's story. Through the Star Award, the Bob Mwiti Foundation steps into stories like this to restore that missing stability, giving students the opportunity to learn without constant disruption. This has been the Star Award show brought to you by the Bob Mwiti Foundation. Thank you for watching.